Hi, my dear. Welcome back. We're going to work on page 12 today. That looks like this guy right here. We're talking integers. I know you play baseball, so this is the best way to explain integers. I'm delighted to do this. You can think of it like teams. We got the positive team and we have the negative team. And if I'm repeating myself from a previous video, I'm sorry. I make a lot of these videos and I forget what I've said. And I've said this probably 800 times, so I apologize. But it's always good for refresh, right? So we have negative 10 plus negative 10. You'll notice there's some parentheses in there. That's just to indicate that it's a negative. I am lazy. I don't like to write them, so I just do this. If you are lazy like me and don't like to write them, that's totally cool. You got to be real clear about the difference between subtraction and negative. For example, if I had negative 7 minus negative 3, you'll see that I'm real clear about, hey, this is my minus, this is my negative. I kind of bump it up to the top. Don't be your own worst enemy when it comes to math, right? Like make sure that you're writing legibly so you don't make a mistake later. Like I said, though, we have positive and negative teams here, right? So pretending these are teams, we have the negative team has 10 and this negative team has 10. They're all on that same team and it's the negative team. And now that team is 20 big. So that's our answer. Same thing for number 2. We have got negative 6 plus negative 10. They are all on the same team, and that's the negative team. And that team is 16 players big now, okay? So for number 3, now this is where it gets different. We have negative 8 plus 15 equals. All right, so we have the negative team has 8 players. The positive team has 15 players. Which team has more players? Our positive, which means our answer is going to be positive. How many more do they have on the positive team than they do on this one? So basically, I'm asking for a subtraction problem. And there are 7 more players on the positive team than there are on the negative. So our answer will be positive 7. Now you'll notice for the explanation, I'm writing this little like plus sign here to indicate that it's positive. You don't have to do that. You can just leave it like this. But for the purposes of this video, you'll see me write that a lot. So basically you want to look at the 2 teams, figure out which is larger, that's going to be your answer, and then by how many. So ask yourself, which team is larger, by how many? And if you also look here, if they're the same team, we're basically adding, right? 10 and 10 is 20, 6 and 10 is 16. And if they're different teams, we're subtracting, okay? So let's look at 4 here. We have, 10 caps driving me nuts, negative 13 plus negative 3 plus 2. Group all your teams together first. I think this is the easiest. We're going to group that one and that one. And notice how I'm underlining the operation that comes before it. You want to make sure you're underlining that sign. So our negative, these guys are both on the same team, right? Still the negative team, and now there's 16 players on that team. Bring down our plus 2. I'm going to group that one together. All right, so which team is larger? This time our negative team is larger. And by how many? 14. There are 14 more players on the negative team. All right, so then let's look at 5. All right, I have a saying that I say, 6th graders subtract, 7th graders add the opposite. So since you're going into 8th grade, you are going to add the opposite here, okay? We add, and the opposite of positive 6 is negative 6. The reason why I say this is you don't have to know how to subtract in integers, right? Because you just change it to an addition problem and you already know how to do that. So looking at this, they're both on that same team, that negative team, and there are 9 players on that team, okay? So let's look at 6 here. Again, it's negative 2 minus negative 9. Again, there's those parentheses there. I just get rid of them and make it look like this. But we don't subtract, we add. The opposite of negative 9 is positive 9. So we have negative 2 and positive 9. Which team is larger? Our positive team has more players. By how many? 7. Okay, let's look at number 7 here. 13 minus 19. 6th graders subtract, 7th graders add, and the opposite of positive 19 is negative. Good, so we have, I'm gonna make that look a little nicer. Plus negative, there we go. So which team is larger? The negative team has more players. By how many? By 6. There are 6 more players on that team. All right, let's try 8 here. Negative 14 minus 16 plus 4. Change it to add the opposite first. So add, and then the opposite of positive is negative. Now gather up all your team members. Here's this team, right? And then this team is the different one. This is the positive team. So negative 14 and negative 16, that team is now negative 30. There's 30 players on that team. Plus 4. Now, which team is larger, our negative or positive? Our negative team, by how many? by 26. All right, so I probably did all those problems. I just did all those problems for you, and you should really practice that. So I may send a couple problems over to your mom just so you can practice it a little bit more. But let's try now. So that's adding and subtracting, right? Integers. That's harder than multiplying or dividing. The deal with multiplying and dividing, same sign, positive, different sign. You should write this at the top of your paper so you have it. Equals negative. So same sign, positive, different sign, negative. So taking a look at these guys. Let me get this down here, hold on. All right, so we see that we have 4 times negative 4. Those are different signs, so your answer is going to be negative. Okay, same signs, your answer is going to be positive. Same signs, answer is going to be positive. Oh, this one's tricky, right? We got to do this first. Same sign is positive times a negative. A positive times a negative, those are different signs, so your ultimate answer is going to be negative. A way to think about this, if you're multiplying numbers, if it's an odd number of negatives, it's going to be negative answer, okay? Odd number is going to be negative answer. These I assume are division, and it's the same rule with multiplication, okay? So these guys are the same, so it's going to be a positive answer. This one, positive. These guys are different, so that's going to be negative. These guys are the same, so it's going to be positive. Now, all you have to do is go back and actually do the math part. 4 times 4, 16. Okay, 15 times 2, 30. I'm waiting. I'm like, maybe he's doing these and not waiting for the answer. But go through and do the answer on all the rest of those, okay? Okay, so then we have for exponents here. That's 3 to the second power. I'm going to move this down just a little bit more because it's not the best copy. All right, 3 to the second power. This is just like what I was saying on the last page, I think page 8, right? This is saying, hey, do 3 2 times. So this is really 3 times 3, okay? 3 times 3 we know is 9. This is saying 5 3 times. So we're going to do 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So that's 25 here. So if you have 25 cents, if you have a quarter, if you have 5 quarters, right, you'd have $1.25. 1 to the 7th power is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Times 1 more. I gotta squeeze it in there. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, 7. That's it's not 7. I was counting. It's 1. 1 to the 7th power is 1. I'm sorry. Geez. What I was going to say is 1 to the 27th power, also 1. 1 to the, anything to the 1 to the any power is going to be 1. 0 to the 8th power, that is going to be 0 because it's 0 8 times. Anything times 0 is 0. 8 to the 4th power, we got 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. Okay, we got this at 64. This is 64. Okay. I'm going to show you a different way. So we need to multiply 64 times 64 to get this one. I'm going to show you a slightly different way that I do multiplication. You may have seen this, you may not. I don't know if it helps or not, but I like it. 64 times 64, that's 2 by 2. So we have 60 times, so 64 is really 60 plus 4, right? 60 plus 4. The reason why I like doing this is because I think you can, once you get faster at it, it's a lot easier. Plus, this is basically just the distributive property. You're going to get into this in algebra. So 6 times 6 is 36 with 2 zeros. 6 times 4 is 24 with a 0. 6 times 4 is 24 with a 0. 16. So we have 3,600, and then 24 and 24 is 480. And 16, we add all those up, we get 690, carry the 1, 4,096. So we come back over here, 64 times 64 is 4,096. Okay, so let's look at these guys. All right, I'll actually use my whiteboard for the rest of these. Order of operations. I talked about this in lesson 8, or page 8, but please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember, P is for parentheses, but parentheses are really just grouping, okay? So let me get this all lined up nicely. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Technologically not competent here. Let's see if that works. All right. So for number 1 there, what we have is 7 times 4 divided by 2. We do multiplication and division in order left to right. Now, this actually comes up a lot. So it's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. If division ever comes up first, some teachers say you have to do division first. Most teachers say they won't. So this, in like 15 years of teaching, I've only had one kid come back to me who was like, my teacher said that you have to do it this way. For this one, like he got this one problem wrong. But for the most part, you don't have to do that. So we're gonna go like this, 28 divided by 2, which we know if we take 28 and dividing by 2 is just cutting in half, right? So cut 28 in half. If you can't do it in your head, try doing 20 cut in half is 10, 8 cut in half is 4. So it's gonna be 14, okay? So for 2 squared times 8 minus 10. Again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you wanna do your exponents first, So this guy is gonna be 4 times 8 minus 10. We wanna do our multiplication next. We got this guy right here, that's 32 minus 10. That's gonna be 22. All right, so that should help you for the rest of those. What I'd like you to do is pause it and give it a shot. And if you have any questions, come back. But so go ahead, pause it, do 3 through 8 and see if that helped. If it doesn't, come on back and we'll keep working through these. So for 3, you've got 5 plus 4 times 7. You want to do those parentheses first. That's that 9. And once you're done with parentheses, take it out of the parentheses. You don't need those anymore. So 9 times 7, which is 63. If you don't know your multiplication tables, let me tell you, algebra is going to be real rough if you don't know them. I'm looking at my niece over there too, because she's watching and she's 10, and she better know her multiplication tables. Otherwise, algebra is very difficult. I get a lot of students that don't know their multiplication tables, and it just slows things way down. So you want to be fast, because then the faster you are, then you can get done with it. All right, so we want to do this stuff, that's this garbage here first before we do this. You don't want to do like this times this times this, or you don't want to distribute. It's just a pain if you do it that way. Do this stuff first, okay? 5 plus 3, that's going to be 8. And notice I did everything in the parentheses, so I'm taking it out of parentheses. Minus 4. So that's 64 minus 4. That's going to be 60. All right, let's look at 5. 5 is going to be 36 minus 5 squared plus 7. We want to do our exponents first. That's this thing right here. So we have 36, so bring everything else down. And remember, 5 squared is 5 times 5. It's not 10, it's 25. Common mistake. Now, 36 minus 25, that's going to give us 11. Plus 7 gives us 18. All right, let's see about this. 6. 4 plus 6 times 5 minus 2 plus, maybe divided by, I can't tell. We'll say plus 3. No, I think that's divided by. Divided by 3. All right, we want to do that parenthesis first. So right here, that's going to be 3, right? I'm going to make a little notation up here, 3. Now, the operation that's coming in between here, we're lazy. We don't like to write it. So it's probably multiplication. So 4 plus 6 times 3 divided by 3. All right. So, and now you notice I got rid of the parentheses. That's because we did everything that was in there, but you still have to put in a dot here or something. You can use parentheses, that's fine, to indicate multiplication. Otherwise, it looks like 63, which is not correct. All right, we want to do multiplication first. We're going to do this guy right here. So we have 4 plus 18 divided by 3. Yeah, that was definitely a division symbol at the end. Now, we don't want to do 4 plus 18 or you're going to get the wrong answer. You got to do your division first. Very common mistake. So 4 plus 18 divided by 3 is 6. 4 and 6 is 10. So 10 is your answer on that guy. Let me see about this. So 7. So here's one where, again, we have that implied grouping. We can't do our division until we do our addition subtraction. And remember, now that you're in 8th grade, this means division. You're not going to write this division much longer. So keep that in mind. So we want to do the stuff that's on the top and then the stuff that's on the bottom before we do any division. So 15 minus 7, well, we know 7 and 7 is 14, so we're going to do 8 over 4, 3 plus 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2. All right, so the last one, we've got 9 plus 3 over 3 plus 3 squared. All right, on the top here, I have 12. On the bottom here, 3 squared. Remember, that's 9. So I'm just gonna write a little 9 here. I'm lazy, I don't wanna have to write it all out again. 9 plus 3 we know is 12. 12 over 12, that equals 1. Anything over itself equals 1, okay? That's why we can reduce fractions or find common denominators. I'll get into that at some other point. All right, so that's it for those guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, great work, and I can't wait to help you. I love, love, love teaching math, especially junior high. So if you have any questions throughout the year, tell your mom to give me a call or drop me a note, and I'd be happy to help, okay? I have a ton of other videos on my channel too, so if you're stuck on something, just search my channel and you'll probably pull up something that'll be helpful. All right, great work, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.